Shalom, everyone. Shmuel here from Christian Friends of Israeli Communities. Today, friends of friends. And we are introducing today somebody maybe in the past met him. Is a good friend, Amit Barak. Shalom, Amit.
Shalom, shalom.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. Better.
So tell us, where are you located right now?
Right now, I'm at home on a break from the reserve duty, but I will be back on Friday. I'm going back
How many days since the 7th of October, 14 months, you're already serving in reserve?
over 300. I stopped counting.
300 days. So where is home? Where do you live right now?
I live in Sdebar. Sdebar is located not far from Tekoa, the town of Prophet Amos in Gush Etzion. There,
You have the Herodion over there on top of you.
yeah, exactly. The Herodion, and it's an amazing area.
So you've served for 300 days. Where did you serve?
I served in the south, and I served in the north as well, and I served in Judea and Samaria.
So all over the place. Okay, so without going into details and without going into locations, what does a soldier feels after being in the army for 300 days a year? You're a reserve. You're a civilian. You have family. Maybe share about your family, about the struggles, about the challenges, and about the feelings somebody like you has.
Well, first of all, it's a privilege. It's a privilege because we're really now living in historical times. That's what I think. That's what many of my friends think and feel. And we stood up to defend our country, our families, our nation, our people. We couldn't sit at home. When everything broke out on October 7th, we were already speaking with each other in my reserve team. Before they called us formally, we were already arranging the equipment and preparing the families. And some of us already actually went into the base before we received the call.
Wow. So on the 7th of October, when you heard the news, you immediately realized we're going into war. I'm going to be called, preparing the family, and even packing and going, actually going.
So I tell you what happened with me on October 7th. I was in Tiberias in a hotel with a group of Christians from Norway and different countries in Africa. I'm
Okay.
also a tour guide. That
So that's
was
important to note. The work you do before you became like a full-time reservist, you are a tour guide, also working with a lot of Christians.
that's right. Yes.
Okay, so you're there in Tiberias with a group.
So I'm there. I'm going down to the dining room for a breakfast, opening the WhatsApp, and immediately I see the first videos of those white trucks with machine guns in the road. I was shocked. I must say, I was completely shocked. It took me few minutes to understand, maybe even more than few minutes to understand that we are in a completely different story. It's not another round with Gaza with Hamas. But then after the shock was a bit over, first, I send messages to my community. I was at that time I was the commander of the quick response team in the community, and our security officer he was in Japan.
So just a second to explain, you remember that every community has a first response team. In a case that there's an emergency, there are a couple of people in the community that volunteer. They have a weapon, they have the gears. If something happens, they're the first group that does something just in case. So the commander you're saying was in Japan. You took over him, so you were texting them. What did you say?
I was texting. I was 3 hours away from the community, but I was texting them. I start giving orders what to do because we were also. I understood that we have to be ready. That something like that will also happen in Judea and Samaria in our communities. So first of all, I gave them the orders what they should do in this kind of attack. And then I called my parents who lives in Kfar Tabor, not far from Tiberias. I asked my father to bring me the uniform and to come pick me up. I said goodbye to the group. I was with another tour guide, so he took over, and my father came and picked me up. He drove me. We stopped at my parents' house. I said goodbye to my mother, and then he drove me in a main junction in Jezreel Valley, in Megiddo Junction. And from there, I started to hitchhiking to go back home. It's Saturday. There's no public transportation, but I arrived home very very quick. I even didn't had to raise up my finger to stop a car. With 5 cars, I arrived home. 4 of them were reservists on the way to their units, and the last one was a civilian who saw me in Jerusalem, and he told me, "I will take you to Gush Etzion, to your home," and that's what
It's like
happened.
what comes in my mind is like the movies and what you see on Yom Kippur War, right? The Yom Kippur War was in Yom Kippur, and there are amazing videos of people like wearing uniforms, searching for the rides, hitchhiking. They need to get somewhere in the middle of the day that there's not an operation yet that with buses. So you were in that feeling. You leave the north, traveling like 3 hours into your home, empty roads, only reservists who are driving to their unit, and you're hitchhiking with them to bring you down home and then go to the army. Wow. Wow.
Yes,
And that first segment when you were drafted on the 7th of October, how long was it?
100 days,
Wow.
100 days, yeah, 100 days of training, preparing, and fighting. Yeah,
So many people ask this question. Can you explain to us if you served, you said 300 days, 200, how many, how much?
over 300 already,
Over
and
300 days in
especially
14 months. In 14 months. What is a person like you is able to do in between? Is there's life in between, or it's just, I'm waiting for the next call? How does it go?
you try to build to renew the life, but you all the time know that there will be another call, and there were few calls also that I were not prepared for them, and to try you work, you get back to work if you can. In the case of tour guides, there are no groups in Israel now, so the tour guides need to look for something else, and you spend time with the family, of course, a lot of time with the children. You travel to the places where it's possible to travel, and you pass the time for the next call between call and the call, but you understand that this is the situation, and that's our life now, and we
A
have to accept it.
full-time reservist.
Full-time reservists, yeah.
What's the situation like in your community? How many people were drafted on the 7th of October, and how many people are drafted throughout the year?
So I can tell you that from the quick response team, on October 7th, only 4 men um, stayed in the community, and they are serving in a unit nearby. So some of them were drafted to the unit nearby, but the unit sent them back to the quick response, and together with the unit, they started to guard the community. But the first week, even the first 2 weeks of what my wife told me, The situation was very bad. There were not enough men in the community to guard, and it felt very unsafe. My wife decided after a few days to take the kids and go to the north to her parents, to my parents. She spent about a week and a half in the north, and then she decided to come back home. The situation was a little bit more stable.
Hmm.
Uh, The army sent more troops. Volunteers came. Both, I must say, Jews and Christians. The states came to help guarding the community.
Wait, tell us. What kind of Christians came to guard your community? What are we talking about?
Veterans from special forces of the U.S. forces. Yes,
They
they
volunteered to come and they stayed in your community and guarded?
yes they stayed. They gathered. They brought equipment. We were lack of equipment at the beginning, and they brought like extra equipment like radios and ears and some others, and they helped guarding. They couldn't carry a weapon because they are not Israeli citizens, but they help guarding and they help building the strategy, the security strategy. The security officer was on his way from Japan, where they already arrived and helped a lot. And also there was another a Jewish from a Jew from America who served in the IDF as a lone soldier. So he also came and he drafted into the army here and he stayed here in the community and helped guarding the community. That's how it worked.
It's like the feeling was, and I think what your wife felt it happened in many places in Judea and Samaria. The understanding that if they were able to come from Gaza with a 3.5 million shekel obstacle, when we live, it's like we see the Palestinians like they're like surrounding us. What stops them? And the feeling, the fear you had on the 7th of October was they will take advantage of the situation and they will attack on the same time. Now, thank God, nothing severe happened. They didn't do anything. But the feeling was that while the men went to fight in Gaza and in the north, they are abandoning their homes, their families, and somebody else needs to keep it safe. Minimum manpower, and then you came to a situation that people had to volunteer and do a lot from their own will, because because if you weren't volunteering, who can do it, who can keep the community? It was wow.
That's right. And it's you have a small dilemma. Sometimes I'm thinking about it whether should we have stayed guarding our families or not.
Yeah.
But I think the situation is that you're training with your army unit for many years. You have your friends there. You have your job there. You know what you need to do. And where the war is breaking out, you need to be with your unit. And you know that someone else, other units will come to guard your community, to guard your family. And that's what happened. But it took sometimes it took about a week or 2 weeks even that the my wife and other wives and other families here felt more secure.
The shock was so big it took time to realize it, but I think what you said was very very true. We are here protecting the people of Israel. The people of Israel are in many places. It's a story of my family, but nobody thought, okay, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to guard my family. And the dilemma was really reassuring when you knew that you're going to the north and people from the north are coming to you, and this is like a solidarity that everybody take care of the area, of the surrounding area. It's like a responsibility for the nation and not a private story. Tell me, Amit, we are 14 months after. Only this week, we recording it in the beginning of December, middle of December. Syria has collapsed. Lebanon, last things there after the ceasefire. Gaza is, I don't know, half destroyed, half not. We still don't have the hostages. And the situation in Judea and Samaria. Why are you needed? Why are you going back to war? Like, what's happening now? Where is the need, or what's the vision in your perspective of where the army needs to get?
So first of all, I have to say that a few months ago, I think all of us felt that the future is unclear. The threats from Iran, from Hezbollah, before the war broke out in Lebanon as well, the situation in Judea and Samaria, terror attacks also from Israeli Arabs. It looked very, very bad. But
Right.
in the last 2 months and in the last week with Syria, we see a change, a really dramatic change. And I say that I live in Tzedeba next to Tekoa. And if you open the book of Amos, chapter 1, you can read you can read his prophecy about what's happening now. He's prophesying about Gaza, about Damascus, about Tyre in Lebanon. It's amazing, amazing that his word from around 3,000 years ago
Coming up.
are coming to life now.
Mhm.
And the the thing that they still need us is because it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Now Syria collapsed, the Assad regime collapsed. We don't know what's going to come into Syria next. You know
Mhm.
how it is in the Middle East. When there is a vacuum, there is a chaos, balagan in Hebrew. So we need to guard the border, and that's the reason why now IDF broke into Syria a few kilometers to secure. So we need more troops in Syria. We need more troops in Lebanon. We have the ceasefire, but it's not stable. It's
Right.
not stable yet. Fighting in Gaza still going on. Situation in Judea and Samaria is very tense, and also the eastern border with Jordan in the last few months became very unstable. All the time, terrorists trying to infiltrate from the Jordanian border and smuggling weapons from Iran, and so we still need the troops. That's the reason I'm going back on Friday, and I know that we will be back home, and we will receive
You
another
called again.
another call.
Tell me, so people are seeing us, they hear us, they hear your story, they can imagine what your family is going through, your community is going through. People want to bless Israel. This is now December, this is the end of the year. They want to help. Where are the places in Sdeba? What is Sdeba, your community needs to help, to support, to bless?
Well, first of all, I must say that we received a lot of support and help from you and from your supporters, and that was a great help. Just when the war broke out, helped us with some arrangements, security arrangements like a
Of course,
gate.
Amit, you weren't there. It's your wife who took care of this,
And
right?
my wife took care of everything. You know, the heroes of the war are the wives. Really, they they stayed home, took care of the families, of the children, of the house. In my case, of the community, with all the security situation, with all the what we spoke about here in Judea, and with the missile from Iran and Yemen. They are the real heroes. We went to fight. We are together with our teammates, with our platoon mates, like the second family. But the wives, they are here.
Brave. You're right. So what is still needed, or everything is perfect?
What is still needed in SDEBA, you have the quick response team and you have also the emergency team. The emergency team, they are not with gears and weapons. When something happening, they are in charge of checking that all the residents are at home or receive the the notification of what's going on, if they have, if they are okay, if the families are great, the children, if they have enough water, if they have where to go when there are missiles. Not every house have a
Culture,
shelter.
of course.
So they need more equipment. They need like a more first aid and radios and something that will help them more to communicate. When you need to stay in the shelter, you still need to make sure that everyone is okay.
Right, right. Amazing, Amit. Listen, every time I talk with like our brave soldier, I think I think some of the people don't understand it. You have your life, you have your family, you have everything going, and then you need to stop everything and go into the army and get drafted and keep our country safe. This is this is heroism. This is not normal. This is not the way most of the country work. It's only the state of Israel, the people of Israel, who needs to face this challenge to take a civilian and throw him into the reserve units and say to him, "Now you are a soldier." As the song says, "You are in the army now." But I'm old. I'm finished. Like, look, I have like gray hair. It's not me who's playing this war games. It is not a game. It's us protecting our nation from destruction, from real will planned and orchestrated terror against our nation. That's the reality we're facing. And people need to see people like you and your family being so brave and so courageous and believing in the importance of what we do. It means the world to us. So I want to thank you, and I want to appreciate everything you do, and I want to continue to ask our people to continue to donate and support people like Amit and his communities. These are the brave people of Israel. Last
Thank you
message,
very
Amit, or
much.
we good?
We are good. I want to thank everyone for their support. Really, that's really warming. And the prayers, the support. It's really something that gives you a lot of motivation to continue.
I agree. I agree. Thank you, Amit. Toda
Thank
rabah. Thank
you.
you.
Shalom, shalom.